Hello, hello. Welcome to another exciting edition of the Cavalier Sports Report. I'm your host, Jonah Snyder. Joining me today, I have head coach of the men's basketball team, Mike Jeffers. Mike, how are you today?
Good to be here, Jonah.
Hey, so you're actually the first coach I've had the chance to interview. I want to thank you for taking the time to do this. You've won more games than any other men's basketball coach in school history, and you've really established a consistent winning program. What would you say is your main coaching philosophy?
Well, my main coaching philosophy is just get our players to focus on doing their best every day. When they transition from high school level to the college level, just like any student, it's a lot harder academically. And and athletically, it's a lot harder. And you get to this level, and a lot of those students and a lot of our players are used to just coasting by on talent. And now they have to develop the work ethic to go along with the talent, whether it's academic talent or athletic talent. They've got to learn to match that with work ethic. And it's just getting them to understand that, you know, if you only went to work the days you felt really good, you probably wouldn't work but about once a week. So, you know, it's just getting them to focus on doing their best, doing more, and more is expected out of them. And if they do that, and they stay focused on the process and not just on the outcomes, be successful here and at the next level at a four-year school and in life. They'll be successful.
So you've been pretty successful in your career here at Johnson County. You earned your 400th win back in February. You've received a handful of Coach of the Year honors and even inducted into the JCCC Hall of Fame, plus 2 national championships, obviously is a big deal. What has been the best part of coaching here at Johnson County?
The best part of coaching here is the daily relationships that you have with the people that work here on this campus, and the people and our student athletes, the players that come through our program. I look around and I see a lot of faculty, staff members, coaches that when I was hired here in 1991, I was hired by an AD that says, we hire people for life. And a lot of the people are still here. But for us, as far as our basketball team, probably the most rewarding part is watching our players develop academically, athletically, get recruited to a four-year school, go to that four-year school, and then within our team and our program, about 90% of our players have bachelor's degrees from four-year schools. So they're pretty successful. They get a great foundation here, athletically and academically, and they move on and they're successful. And then they stay in touch with us. You know, we've had former players' sons come through our program. So that's kind of been a unique experience to get a second generation player, you know, in your program. So just watching them mature, watching them grow up, watching them become young men that go on and have families and have jobs and contribute in a positive way to society.
Tell us about your coaching staff. What relationship do you have with your assistants?
We have a new assistant on board this year, Brandon Burgett. He's a Lee Summit North graduate, graduated from Southwest Baptist, has been in the AAU system of coaching, spent 4 years at Indian Hills Community College, won a really successful, you know, community college basketball program. So we're real fortunate and blessed that he's on our staff this year. And then I've got Dave Hayes, that's in his second year as a volunteer coach. He actually attended Johnson County Community College in the early 90s, and has been ingrained also in AAU basketball, and actually has coached 3 or 4 of our freshmen on our team during some of those AAU years. And then Derek Howard, I think Derek's like in his 6th season with us. He's a volunteer coach, but he's coached like at Winnetonka High School. He's probably had 20 years or more as a high school coach and coaching professional developmental league teams in the summer. So we have a very solid coaching staff.
I have to talk about last season. Sadly, it didn't end on the best note, but it was still a great year. 25 wins, 6 losses. You went 6-2 in conference play, but did lose the last 3 games of the season, including an overtime defeat in the final game. As a coach, how do you handle that kind of finish going into the off season?
Well, going into the off season, you know, you move those sophomores on, and every sophomore that we had that played for us last year is at a four-year school playing this year. Got scholarships, they moved on. Now, you're very fortunate. You said we won 2 national titles. You're very fortunate, very blessed that you can win that last game you play. You never go into that last game thinking, okay, this is my speech if we win, this is my speech if we lose. You just don't know. Basketball is such a dynamic, ever-changing sport from play to play, game to game, season to season. And, you know, we tell our players, move on. You make a bad play, it's next play, it's next play. You have a bad game, you move on, it's next game. And, you know, you're very blessed if you can have one season where you win the last game, and we've been very blessed to have 2 seasons where we won that last game of the year.
So going forward, down the stretch, what does your team need to do differently this year?
This team just needs to mature and grow up. We're really young. I mean, we've got 3 sophomores back, which we returned no starters. We've got 10 freshmen back that have come in, and it's just a growth and maturity thing for our team this year. And we're going to be a lot better in February than we are right now.
So this season is already underway for you guys. The Johnson County Jamboree took place on October 16th. The Cavs played in 3 games. What are your early observations and expectations of this year's team?
The early observations was in our 3 games this past Sunday in our Jamboree. It was that we just did a lot of running around, which was kind of first game, in front of a lot of 4-year coaches, 17 teams here, 3 really good. We played 3 games in one day. We had a couple young men that were injured, didn't play, so that kind of hurt our depth. So by the time we got that last game, we were a little tired. But so was everybody at that point in the day. It's just the maturity. This team's going to, like I say, we're going to be a lot better in February than we are right now. They're going to grow, mature, understand how to play as college players, which is a lot because you start looking at college teams. Everybody on that team was all city. Every player on that team was all conference. You look at professional sports. You got a football, basketball, baseball professional team. Even the worst player on that team was a great player at some point in time and level in their career. So it's just growth, maturity, coachability, and you mentioned our staff. We got 4 great coaches, and if they will just learn to do what we ask them to do, they're going to be successful. Follow that process, and the outcomes will be what you desire.
So the Johnson County Jamboree is also a good place to showcase talent. Recruiting-wise, you guys had 7 signings from the KC Metro this offseason. Tell me about that recruiting process. What is it like for you as a coach?
Well, we started identifying a lot of these young men in probably their junior year. They may not be thinking Johnson County Community College at that time. Like the early signing period for NCAA Division I is coming up in November. There's very few of those young men that are sitting there right now going, man, I hope Johnson County's recruiting me. It's kind of the process. We have to wait to see who signs at Missouri State, to see who signs at Pittsburgh State, Washburn, because they're getting full ride offers and full scholarships, and in the Jayhawk Conference we don't offer those kind of scholarships right now, and we're looking for the best fit. We're looking for that young man that every now and then you find that sleeper, that late developer, and that late bloomer. We have to have young men that can play, but we want them also to have some character and not be characters, and at the same time have a chance to understand the real value of a college education.
All right, Coach, last question. Going forward, is there any game that you have circled on your calendar this year?
All 30 of them. Honestly, we're playing Baker tonight in a scrimmage exhibition game, and that's what we're focused on is the process. And then it's just try to get better because, like I say, basketball is such a dynamic game, and it changes so much. Is that game to game, you're either getting better as a team or you're getting worse as a team. Unfortunately for us last year, we peaked a little too early. And that last 2 weeks, we weren't really getting better. We'd already started our kind of downhill slide. And it's a long year. And just keeping guys focused and keep them ready to play at the end of the year sometimes becomes a challenge, and it is a grind. But we're really looking forward to the season. Yeah, we really are.
I'm too, Coach. It's been a pleasure to interview you. Thank you for your time. And as always, you can join us on the JCCC Athletics YouTube page. I'm Jonah Snyder with your Cavalier Sports Report. Thank you for watching.